Welcome to Senior Moments Successful Aging. I'm your host, Mary Beals-Ludka. I'm the director for NACOG, Area Agency on Aging, and you can reach me toll-free at 877-521-3500. Senior Moments Successful Aging is co-sponsored by the Division of Lifelong Learning at Yavapai College. So we have two producers. Our co-producers are Connie Vargas from Yavapai College. You can reach her at 928-717-7755, and Allie Bateman from the Area Agency on Aging, toll-free at 877-521-3500. You should give them a call. Make comments about the show. Maybe we could use suggestions about shows you'd like to see in the future, or any kind of questions you have. They would love to hear from you. So I would love to welcome our guest today, Fritzi Mavis, a longtime colleague and friend. Hi, Fritzi.
Hi, Mary.
Long time no see.
That's right.
I know. I guess we have to come on TV set to say hi to each other.
I know. It's just how it is, isn't it?
Oh, my
Yeah,
gosh. So Fritzi Mavis, Executive Director for People Who Care.
We do.
Yeah.
We do indeed, Mary.
I know you do.
So we will be entering our 27th year in the Prescott area. And so we're looking forward to that. And I think that what I really want to share with people today is the reason what we are, who we are, why we do what we do, and then the opportunities that People Who Care presents.
And you do present a lot of opportunities. So, you know, that's my whole career. So I've been at NACOG 27 years. So my entire career, you know, we have worked with People Who Care, and the many, many things that you bring to this area. You know, we'll start with, how long have you been with People Who Care?
Oh, do I have to tell you that?
Yes, you do. I just said how long I've been with NACOG. I mean,
well, probably about 18 years.
Yeah, I thought so.
Aging in place.
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Yes, we
Better
are.
every day.
Yeah.
It's so true. But I think People Who Care, the essence is so important because it's really the personal connections and the relationships. Mm-hmm. So we're a volunteer organization, caregiving organization, where volunteers actually do the hands-on work. They're the ones who assist people on a one-to-one basis. We don't do it in groups or in vans, but a volunteer will come out. So it's completely connectional. And so first of all, we're in 3 areas. We're in the greater Prescott area, in Chino Valley, in the Prescott Valley Dewey office. And they all have their own program offices and their program outreach. So it's really critical. And I'll get back to the volunteer part, and don't let me forget.
I won't.
But so what does People Who Care do? We assist people who are physically unable to drive due to limitations, not because they don't have a car, don't have gas, or can't pay for insurance. We're addressing people who either with aging issues, with a chronic illness, a disability. So many of our clients, who we call our neighbors, have vision loss. Mm-hmm. And that's number one reason why people have to stop driving. But it's important to keep people safe on the roads, and also to get them to where they need to go. So essential transportation to healthcare-related appointments, support group meetings, visit a loved one in a nursing home or a hospital, to try to get them to get back to family members who need them. So critically important is getting to healthcare appointments, and we do a lot of that. The other thing that's really needed so much is getting groceries. Mm-hmm. So volunteers will pick up people in their car and take them to the grocery store, stay with them in the grocery store and help them with what they need. And they also someone can't go out of the house, they will pick up a check made out to the grocery store, go shop for them and bring their groceries back. So those are the 2 transportation-heavy things that our volunteers do. But the other thing we do is caregiver relief. So for instance, if I was taking care of a family member full-time, as a non-paid caregiver, and I just needed some time to go get my hair done or go have lunch with a friend, a volunteer will come in for 3 hours a week and sit with that person, that family member, so that you're able to get out, which is really critical. And paperwork can be overwhelming, and we don't pay bills, but we help people pay their bills, to write out the checks, to make sure that they can read their mail, that things are handled. So those are all good. What we're really finding more and more as time goes on is how many people feel isolated. And this isolation just is so detrimental to their physical and mental well-being. And I understand that. I really do, because we've seen it for all these years,
Yeah.
how people don't have family members and just don't have anybody to connect with. And our volunteers do such a good job on that. So they can either stop in and visit once a week and just have a friendly visit, no counseling, just like your neighbor dropping in. Or volunteers pick up the phone and call one of our client neighbors, several times a week, maybe once every day, and just to say hi and chat for a couple minutes. And what we know is it's important for our clients to know that there are people who care about them, that they're not alone in that effort. So
And you and I have known this forever.
Yes.
I mean, inherently we've known it.
Yes.
But now science has caught up,
that's right.
and it is proven that social isolation is worse than smoking 15 cigarettes
Exactly.
a day.
Exactly.
And it's worse than being obese. So it physically hurts us, and creates chronic conditions, and physical problems.
That's right.
Just by being isolated. And it's what a huge service that you bring.
Yeah, and if you're dealing with health challenges, and if you feel that you really don't have any socialization, you have a tendency to think inward.
Yeah.
And then to concentrate on what you can't do or the pain. So this is where I'd like to depart a little bit and talk to people listening today and watching this show, that there's also opportunities when you're a senior to reach out and help others. And this is so huge, because in reaching out, we're also helping ourselves.
Yes.
And it kind of gets us out of that realm of, I don't have anybody in my life. And it just turns people around, whether they're dealing with grief from the loss of a spouse or any kind of loss in their life. Maybe they've recently moved here and just want to make more connections. But the opportunity to reach out and help somebody on a one-to-one basis, just to sit down with a Mary or a Fritzi and just have a conversation and talk, share stories. Where'd you grow up? Oh my gosh, you taught school, and just share as friends. I think that impact is huge.
It is huge.
It's huge, and that's so important. So when I say people who care, we do care in many ways, in the physical help we provide, but also in the relationships. So it goes together. It fits well. But so the opportunity to reach out and say, yeah, I'd be interested in helping out. And, if you live in Prescott Valley, you would help people who live in Prescott Valley. You don't have to go help people who live in Chino Valley or Prescott. The same for the other one. So we have a program in each community. So volunteers help people who live in that community. So if you're looking for help, and you would be helped by someone in your own community. And
Neighbors helping neighbors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not rocket science. It's just human relationships. It's just caring.
But look how much you've grown. I mean, I remember when you only covered Prescott.
Yes.
And slowly but surely, through your leadership, look how much you've grown.
Well, it's a board of directors, and it's and a whole raft of volunteers. I mean, currently, we are helping about 465 people on our active roles, and that's a true number, because we do this every day. People move, their life changes, and so we keep those numbers honest. And so also we do the safety programs. Okay. And so, so you may have Jim who volunteers, and he may drive people, or he may take people to the grocery store, but we also have volunteers in Project Safe Home. So it was pretty easy to move to the fact that if we're going to help people continue living safely in their homes, we need to provide help for them. So we have a program where we go in and make sure that they have a smoke alarm that's functional.
Nice.
And we just collaborated with the Red Cross, and they are giving us these wonderful 10-year ion battery smoke alarms.
Wow.
And we can replace the old alarms, so we don't have to worry about going back in a year and replacing those smoke detectors. But it's also walking through their homes, and just not invasive, but just saying, looking for risks, fall risk, fire risk. And it's important to do that. And it's not an inspection, it's just walking through with Jim and say, you know what, you might consider moving this chair out of the way, or picking up this scatter rug so you don't fall, and making sure that the doors lock, that there's a back exit, there's a second exit in case of fire. Volunteers went out last week, and they were doing a safety visit, And sure enough, it was a mobile home, and the back door to the mobile home were 3 boxes stacked up against it. And then when they moved the boxes, the door wouldn't open. And so I finally got the door open, and guess what? It was a 4-foot drop. So
No
if
stairs.
somebody is trying to get away from fire at their back, they would wind up probably break a hip or whatever they would do. So it's really important that we do this safety program. And so, yeah, it's great. It's great. And so the problem I love is that volunteers will come back in from helping, or they'll share with us. You know, oh, it isn't that, oh, I did this and I did that. It's I had the best conversation with Jim. We sat down and visited, and he told me about his experience in World War II, or that growing up in the Philippines or wherever. And there's just this constant sharing, and that's what it's all about, Mary.
That's one of my favorite things about working with seniors is the stories.
Oh yeah,
And sometimes I miss that.
Yes.
You know, because I get stuck with the administrative work.
that's right. And that's why I always the volunteer. I love to hear their stories.
Get
Just
out
tell
there.
me more. Tell me more.
Tell me more, tell me more. So, and another thing is really critical is that there are services that you do that the Area Agency on Aging doesn't or can't. And we rely heavily on you, you know, to be able to say, okay, we can call people who care and they can help with the bill paying, for instance. That's huge.
It is.
Because we know that, you know, you're a trusted source that can sit down and help them pay their bills. Because I'm afraid, unfortunately, that too many times they get someone to help them that also try to scam them or take
Yeah.
money from them.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we've heard from insurance people. It's such a high risk, and it's just the opposite. Because when you have a volunteer in there and they're looking at a credit card statement and they see, oh my gosh, you know, on September 29th, you have a $5,000 charge on your credit card. And what is that all about? They don't know. So that is an alert system. We took it all the way to the state attorney general's office, because it was a paid caregiver who was in
There you
helping
go.
them, who was a paraplegic, and took advantage of them and just went off with it. So it's the eyes and then
The eyes
searching
and
it,
ears out
yeah,
there,
yeah.
you know, because
Just
elder
found
abuse
it.
is alive and well, unfortunately.
Yeah. We don't see a whole lot of it,
That's good.
but we're in all the time.
Yeah.
People know that somebody's getting help with shopping once a week, or we're taking somebody, and so they know that there are community members, volunteers in this person's life, and they see it.
And that's a safety net.
It is.
I
It
mean,
is.
and you know, you hear that word safety net, but it really is a safety net
Yeah.
around that person.
Yeah, and it's a reassurance
Yeah.
that their community cares.
Yeah.
Their community cares, and we're there because we care.
Yeah.
And
Thus your name.
I cannot say
People
enough. I
care.
cannot say enough about our volunteers. They just go the extra mile every day.
So here's a little fun thing. So is Fritzi your real name?
Yeah, I was supposed to be Frederick,
Oh.
so I got Fritzi instead. So I get that question. I get asked that question. I don't know how many times.
Isn't that funny?
And so when people call and they don't quite hear it right when I answer the phone, they'll say, "Oh, hi, Tootsie."
Tootsie.
Tootsie, I love it. Tootsie, Tootsie. I was Frisky yesterday.
Frisky.
Frisky.
Okay.
I said, I can do that. I just answered everything, Mary.
Yeah, really. And well, people murder my last name, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
okay. Mary's easy though.
Mary,
That's easy.
Mary.
So and we're fellow dog lovers.
Yes, we are.
We're fellow. You have 4?
No?
You you named dogs for that. Okay.
Yeah, I have many dachshunds and German shepherds that are named after me.
Oh,
Yes.
see, I'm a doxy lover too.
Yeah.
There's nothing about a
You know,
doxy.
the cutest thing, one of our client neighbors called me and she said, "Now you can say no. I just have something really important to ask you, Fritzi, but I want you to be honest. And if you say no, I'll understand." And I went, "What in the world is she calling about?" "Well, I just got a puppy, and it's a little dachshund, and I want to name it Fritzi, but would you be offended?" I said, "I'd be so honored."
Oh, how cute!
I know. I know.
love dogs.
So every time we talk, I see, "How's Fritzi?" And she said, "And how's Fritzi?"
That's fun.
Yeah.
Do you ever take dogs out on visits?
We take dogs to the vet.
Okay.
When our volunteers will say that they don't mind doing that. We haven't gotten into the visitation
Okay,
program,
okay.
but we will work hand in hand and coordinate with that program.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's something about petting a dog that's calming.
Yes.
But it's also calming to sit and being able to have somebody come and talk to you. I think that's really funny. So you said you had how many volunteers?
Well, right now we have about 300, but that sounds like, well, that's plenty, but it isn't because Jim does Project Safe Home, and Susan shops, but she's only available on Wednesday mornings, and somebody else. So it's all. So we do a lot of the juggling and trying to put it together. So really, we could use 600 volunteers to
Wow.
try to meet all the
Okay.
needs. We run a waiting list in the Prescott program, but normally those people can get moved in eventually or reschedule. Prescott Valley is growing rapidly.
Oh my
and it's
gosh.
great.
Yes,
it's
it
great.
is.
And so is the city. The town is growing rapidly.
Yeah, it is.
And so that's growing. Chino Valley is pretty much, they're a smaller rural group, but they're wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a very close-knit community, and
Yes,
so all
it
of
is.
them are. Yeah.
So you could use volunteers.
Oh, absolutely.
So I want to be a volunteer. How do I go about that?
You would let's call the main number, 445-2480. Again, it's
Okay.
people who care. The main number is 445-2480.
Okay.
And every month, we have a volunteer orientation meeting, but it's really just an information meeting.
Nice.
And so somebody says, you know what, I'd like to hear more about it, but I don't know if I really want to do this yet.
Yeah.
So we had 7 people turn up yesterday, and that's what we tell them. We don't say you don't sign, here's an application, you take it home, you think about the opportunities that are there, and then if you decide you want to do it. So, I mean, we don't want to lock anybody in and say, and one of the prospective volunteers on the way out said to me, you know what's nice? Is you don't require that I do 3 hours every Wednesday morning, that they don't lock me in. And I said, no, our volunteers do what they can when they can. And really, for the most part, other than someone who's working in the office, you make your own schedule. Yes, somebody has a doctor's appointment and you can say yes or no. But if you're helping someone with shopping or visiting, it's your schedule.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of flexibility.
And that flexibility is nice for someone who's retired.
Yeah. And they travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They travel. Well, and that's another thing to point out. You may have 300 volunteers, but if 10 of them are on vacation and going to see their grandkids or 50 of them.
Yeah, usually it's about a third.
Okay. Well, then there you go. So you got 100 of them on vacation.
Sure.
Then you're going to need that overlap.
Sure, especially when it's more retired people.
Yeah.
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 But I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to someone who perhaps is not working and has some time on their hands, some discretionary time, and wants to broaden their relationships and kind of meet people on a one-to-one basis. And
You can always put in a couple hours on the weekend.
that's right.
So one of the things that I know we hear a lot about is people want a ride to church. And that's something that we don't have.
No, we don't. And
We don't have that.
And we don't ask our volunteers to do
Yeah.
Sundays.
Yeah.
So we just refer them to the faith community
Yeah.
and see if they can network with the faith
Yeah.
community, or the faith community has vans. But our volunteers do work on Saturday. And
Okay.
if someone is in a job and they get off at 5:30, they can still go to the store
That's
and
true.
shop. They can
That's
still
true.
stop by for a visit. I
Yeah.
mean, our clients anytime.
So there's a whole bunch of different things I could do as a volunteer then. I could go shopping. I could be a shopper, which
right.
is kind of fun.
You have to go grocery shopping for yourself.
Right. And maybe even other kind of shopping.
Yeah.
Maybe they need some clothes.
Yep.
Maybe they need something for winter.
But that is something that's random.
Yeah, it would be
essential.
random.
Well, we do the essential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So but a volunteer says, hey, that we wanted to go to Penny's or we want to go to Walmart. That's up to the volunteer, but we don't advertise that.
Okay.
We do those
okay.
kind
That's
of
pretty
shopping.
random. So basically shopping and then going to the doctor.
Yeah.
Doing the doctor visits. That's and they use their own cars.
Yes.
Okay. And then I could be helping with that home safety
Home
check.
safety, certainly.
And then do you do modification?
Well, we do minor things,
Okay.
changing light bulbs, changing filters.
Okay.
But if it's we don't build ramps
Okay.
or do drywall.
Yeah.
But if somebody needs a light fixture changed or a lock changed on a door, that kind of thing, yeah.
We'll help with that. And then smoke alarm,
Yes.
of course.
Yes.
Which is really important.
Yeah.
And then, or I could help in the office.
Oh yeah, we always need help answering the phone, scheduling appointments, speaking with clients and volunteers, and that's kind of like, okay, I'll come in for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And commit to any of the offices.
So,
Always
and
like
the other thing is do you have folks that could just do phone calls?
Yeah, of course, and they can do it from their home.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, kind of, brainstorming in my head, is that sometimes we have someone can't get out who's homebound, but that doesn't mean they can't volunteer.
That's right. And sometimes it's the greatest thing. Or we may have a volunteer who doesn't want to drive anymore
Mm-hmm.
or can't drive anymore, and we want to keep them volunteering because they've learned all of this. And so they make phone calls.
I love that.
It is.
And you know,
It is.
because we have reassurance specialists that do that for the case managers, and they build quite the relationships over the phone.
Yeah, and we just say they're short. We don't want to have any
Yeah.
calls, but they are. We call them reassurance calls.
Yeah, just say
Yeah.
somebody reach out and say hi.
Yeah, there's just an abundant opportunity
I
to
love
reach
that.
out, and if people need help, please call us. You have to not be able to drive because of physical limitations.
Okay.
Okay. You need to live in one of our service areas in Prescott, Chino Valley, Prescott Valley, or Dewey. We aren't going out to Humboldt yet because we don't have enough volunteers
Okay.
to do that piece. But yeah, we're here to help, and just call and see if you need help, if you're qualified. We never charge. There is never a charge for the assistance that's provided. That's really an important piece.
Yes, it is
And
important.
volunteers don't accept tips or donations from the people they help. It's all very straightforward, but no charge.
But me as a citizen, I could donate for you.
Well, you could do that, Mary. Yes, because we do have expenses. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's important to put out to our viewers too. That this would be a great organization to give to.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, myself and one other person in the Prescott program, manager and administrator, we're there only full time. There are 5 other part time, anyway from 15 to maybe 20, 25 hours a week, and so we put together this huge puzzle of matching people and enrolling people. Doing information meetings, going out and do home visits. So if you're thinking about volunteering, I want people to understand that it isn't like a taxi service. When a person calls and they live in the service area, we do a complete phone interview for about 15, 20 minutes, just getting some background. And then one of our trained intake coordinator people will set up an appointment and go out and visit that prospective client neighbor in their home and visit with them, find out a little bit more about them, and then take a whole packet of resource information out to them. And at that point, the volunteer that does that visit comes back to that program office, and then we deem whether this person who needs help is appropriate for volunteer assistance. Because they may have professional backgrounds, but we do not say that. So it's just a volunteer helping someone. So if they have more critical needs, need to be held up a little bit when they're walking, or have some other things going on. So the volunteer, person who's thinking about volunteering, has to be reassured that we have done the work. And if that client neighbor is enrolled and has any kind of a serious medical event, like major stroke or something, then we'll go out and do another home visit to reassess. And that's where we work closely with the Area Agency on Aging and NACOG, because we'll say this person has extra needs that we aren't able to take care of, but a case manager would be great to go out. Or if we already have someone enrolled with NACOG as a case manager, and our volunteer calls and says, you know what, I was with Martha this morning and this is what I observed, and it's serious, then we will, if it's medically serious, we will call the doctor or the family member, but we'll also connect with the case manager. If it's just something that's come up that's not medical critical, then we go to the NACOG case manager and say, could you get in touch with them? We know that you're the case manager on here. So the partnership with NACOG is critical.
And it takes a village.
It does.
It takes all of us.
Yes.
Because, it's really, there's so many needs out there, and there's so many folks, and it's just getting greater. And we still have a wait list. And Yavapai County, the Area Agency on Aging, has about 190 people on a wait list for a bath or a meal. And so we're really working hard. We're lucky in the Prescott Valley area because Bert Ijams never turns anyone away for a meal.
She's wonderful.
Oh, my gosh,
that's
yes.
one of our big partners.
Yes, she's also a recipient of the Area Agency on Aging Directors Award, as you are. So we're talking some powerhouses here.
Well,
and we're lucky
Bert,
to have
Bert
you.
and I, we're all about helping the same people, and that's so they put their volunteers go into the homes, so we have that connection. So we go back and forth, and the same with the West Yavapai Guidance Center Senior Peer Program.
That is a wonderful program.
And so we deal with trying to prevent depression from leading to more serious issues. So
Yeah.
Connie and Bert and I have a wonderful triangular partnership that we work together.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while, put us in there. We have a new program. We do mental health first aid for seniors, which I really like because it is a little special.
That's right.
Because we seniors are special.
That's right.
We are so.
But we call our seniors, the terminology we use is older adults.
Yes, and I do like that. And I got to get better at
it's-
saying that.
Yeah, and I consider myself an older adult, but I also look at our older adult population, whether they're recipients of our help or volunteers, is the valuable wisdom and experience, life experience that they bring, and that we need to tap into that.
Well, and I'm glad you said that because it seems like still there's a stigma about aging being a negative thing. And it's like, oh, we have so many people that are aging in our community. It's like, well, that's a good thing. We have, because look at the resources. Look at how all these folks that are volunteering and bringing their knowledge and their wisdom and their stories to the table.
You got to keep moving and keep active.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps us all going.
Like my granddaughter says, if you don't move it, you're going to lose it, Grandma. I know that. We went to the bouncy house. I couldn't keep up.
Oh, gosh.
That's too much for me.
No.
The bouncing thing. I try, but that was too much for me. They were doing they bounce up and down and throwing balls. I'm sorry. But I do try to move it. And you're right. We have to have a purpose. And what a wonderful purpose is that one-on-one connection that you would be able to get if you were a volunteer. Or maybe able to receive if you feel like you need the services of people who care.
Yeah. I can't tell you the number of gentlemen who have come to an information meeting or called me personally and said, I lost my wife 2 years ago and I'm lost, and I think, I just need to do something to reach out. And then 6 months later, I'll get a follow-up, thank you. Because now I have a purpose. I have to get up in the morning. I'm going to see Charlie over here, and on Friday I'm going to see Ben, and and they said it's really gotten me out.
And that is so critical because Yavapai County is #1 for suicide in older adults, specifically in men, and by providing that service, you make a big difference.
Yeah, for our clients and for the volunteers.
It works both ways, and you make a big difference in the Quad Cities. Thank you, Fritzi Mavis.
Well, thank you,
everything
Mary.
do.
Thank you, Mary, for all the work that you do and making these connections. And
it's good to see you. Great to have you on the show.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Fritzi Mavis, Executive Director for People Who Care, with the passion and compassion to serve so many people. Give her a call. Give the organization a call if you're interested or know someone who needs help.
445-2480.
445-2480. Mary Beals-Ludka. This is Senior Moment Successful Aging. Until next time.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you.